So we are good. Yeah. Okay. Hi everyone. Welcome to Tigertales Toastmasters. Please be visible if possible. And now let's welcome our Toastmaster today, Christine.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. Our theme for tonight's meeting is flowers and colors. The first thoughts that came to my mind when I heard this was a bright, warm, sunny day, looking at the bright flowers, the green grass against the fresh black mulch, planters overflowing with cascading flowers, birds singing, and best of all, taking in the beauty of my favorite flower, the stargazer. Hopefully you can, oh, it's blurry. Well, I was trying to get, you can't see it. But they're a very large, fragrant lily. It's a vivid fuchsia color that pops against the white petals. For tonight's meeting, we do have a full agenda, including an induction ceremony. We have Kelly, Destin, and Gaurav, who will be our speakers tonight. Our timer tonight is Hassan. Our awe counter is Junan, and our grammarian is Alex. I asked Hassan what his favorite color or flower was, and Hassan shared that his favorite color is green because it's a symbol of nature and life. I decided to investigate a little bit further. Green also represents tranquility, good luck, health, and renewal. And an extra tidbit is researchers have also found that green can improve reading ability and it gives healing energy to the heart. Hassan, can you remind us of the timing rules?
Thank you, Christine. My job as a timer is to help the speakers manage their time. So for the 5 to 7 minute speeches, at 5 minutes, I'll change my background to green. At 6 minutes, I will change the background to orange or yellow, just to remind the speakers that they have 1 minute left. And at the 7 minutes, I will turn my background to red.
Ooh.
And then they have 30 seconds to wrap up.
Thank you. When I asked Hunan what his favorite color or flower is, he shared that he likes every color and flower, and the world is supposed to be full of variety. They made the world a colorful and beautiful place to live, whereas any single one of them probably can't. I look at his response and relate to this as people as well. No two people are exactly alike. Everyone's different and brings something different into your life. For me, I have 5 friends that I've known from high school that we still talk on the regular. And out of the 5 of us, my kids are the oldest. So I get the, how did you do this? Will this ever end? Did this ever happen to you? Out of all of us, I'm the best secret keeper, and it's not out of the ordinary for one of them to call and share something that they want to get off their chest. And the relationships I have with them make my life more colorful and beautiful and give me a variety. Janan, can you explain your role as the awe counter?
Yeah, sure. I'm the awe counter today. So basically, I will count every overused filler words or filler sounds every speaker makes. Filler words or filler sounds such as oh, so, woof, woof, meow, meow. So I will give a report in details by the end of this meeting. Hope everyone will be doing great. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you. Alex is going to be our grammarian tonight. Alex shared that his favorite flower is the magnolia because they bloom very early in the season, are a sign of good things to come. Plus, they smell wonderful. They do smell wonderful, Alex. Growing up, my grandparents had a magnolia tree in their front yard, and as soon as we opened the car door, we could just smell them. We loved looking at those beautiful blooms through the picture window in their living room. Can you explain your role as a grammarian?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Tonight I'll be the grammarian, which means I'll be looking for examples of grammar that either add to the power of our message or take away from the power of our message. And one of the best ways to add to the power of your message is by using rhetorical devices. So I'll be especially looking for those. And I'll also be looking for the word of the day, which is vivid. Vivid means a bright or eye-catching color. You can look outside your window, and right now the lilacs are showing a vivid shade of purple. That's
Thank you,
our
Alan.
word for the day, vivid. Madam Toastmaster.
And now I'm going to hand the meeting over to Gaurav, who will lead our induction ceremony.
Thank you. So, fellow Toastmasters, it is, can everybody hear me? Sorry, I directly say, yeah. So, fellow Toastmasters, it is our duty and privilege to induct Hadija and Junan, new members into the Tigertales Toastmasters Club. This is an important occasion both for these new members and for our club. These individuals have come to Toastmasters seeking to improve their communication and leadership, and we have an opportunity to help them learn, grow, and achieve. Junan, Hadija and Junan, I know Hadija is not there, I guess, but Hadija and Junan, you are joining a worldwide organization that has helped more than 4 million people learn to communicate more effectively. As members of the Tigertail Toastmaster Club, you will benefit from a proven program of self-development. You will become part of an outstanding group of people who are dedicated to helping one another in a spirit of sharing and enjoyment. Mr. Vice President Education, have these members been given an opportunity to discuss their needs and goal with the club?
Yes.
Have they been told how Toastmaster program works and informed of how many benefits they will receive as well as the obligations of the membership?
Yes.
Who have been assigned as mentors for these new members?
So Hadija's mentor is Sarah, and Junan's mentor is Pritam.
As experienced Toastmasters, you have been asked to help these members get off to a good start. Do you accept this responsibility and pledge to share your knowledge and experience with our new members so that you can immediately begin to benefit the Toastmasters membership?
Yes, I already had a meeting with Junan.
Thank you, Pritam. Members in this club and Toastmaster International is a privilege that carries with many rewards. Yet it also places certain obligations upon you. We are a group of people brought together to do things we could and accomplish we could not accomplish alone. Our collective obligation is to grow and improve ourselves and to share our knowledge and experience with fellow members in a spirit of enjoyment. This means you must work diligently towards your own self-development, evaluate others' speeches in a spirit of support and sharing, assist the club in reaching its goal, remain positive, and a smile on your face, and keep a smile on your face. We asked our new members to dedicate yourself to personal growth, to share this great gift with your fellow members, and to help this Toastmaster and club strong and dynamic. I I would affirm your membership by repeating this your words for yourself. I, Junan, in the presence of fellow members of the Tigertales Toastmaster Club, make this firm obligation to attend meetings regularly and prepare fully for each assignment, to apply myself to the projects outlined in the Toastmasters education program, to participate actively in club activities, to evaluate others in a positive, constructive manner, to build friendly relationships with my fellow members, and to bring members into the club so that they can also gain the benefits of the Toastmasters. So, on behalf of my present Toastmaster members, I pledge that we, the members of Tigertales Toastmaster Club, pledge to support you in the quest for self-development, to provide you with positive, helpful evaluation, to maintain friendly, supportive environment, and to give opportunities to help others, and to make your Toastmasters membership a rewarding and fulfilling experience. Over to you, Toastmaster. Thank you.
Thank you. Our first speaker tonight will be Kelly. I asked Kelly her favorite color in flower. Her favorite color is purple, and lilacs are her favorite flower because some of them are her favorite colors of purple and they smell delightful. Kelly is going to be presenting her level 4 speech tonight on project management. The title of her speech is There is No I in Team and will be 5 to 7 minutes. Evaluating Kelly tonight is Mingshu. Mingshu, can you give us a brief description of Kelly's speech?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Kelly is working in the innovative pathway, level 4 on project management. She asked me to look for good delivery, organization, and that others will be able to relate to what it's like working with a team. So I'm very excited about this speech. Look forward to it. Go back to you.
Kelly, do you want to go ahead with your speech?
Before I do, who is the timer, please?
So me, Hassan.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I thought you were going to say something else before I started, Christine.
Sorry.
So that's okay. Here I go. Have you ever had the responsibility of forming a team? To build a team, you must consider the strengths of others. Remaining flexible and open to new ideas is important in order to be able to lead well. In putting together this project, collaborating with other local Toastmaster groups was not as daunting as a task as I would have thought because of the strong team members that were able to come together to help me accomplish this. Some of the things I learned along the way was reinforcing those strengths of the team members, being able to build character, and appreciating the ways that connections could be built in a deeper way. Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster teammates, and welcome guests. First, putting together a strong team of women from our Toastmaster group was a no-brainer. The women I chose were dependable, helpful, and creative in being able to take on the tasks that were delegated. Sarah, with her insights and the ability that she had to reframe and help keep us focused, were some of the things that were highlighted in her being a member of our team. For instance, when she contacted one of our local Toastmaster groups, one of the members was really excited about the idea and wanted to implement more. We admired her passion. However, Sarah was able to rein it in and help her understand what the point of the project was and that some of these ideas could be considered in the future. Ruchi had a strength of being able to also form good connections with other local Toastmaster groups. And I really appreciated the way that she was able to come up with a way to implement the time frame in a more appropriate manner. Ruchi is one of those people that is able to take something on and walk in the shoes of others, which constantly challenges me. Christine is so well organized. She's good with technology, and she asks pertinent questions like, what's the point of this project and how's it going to benefit other Toastmasters? The team that I have was outstanding, and without them, I could not have reached my end goal. Next, I must recognize what I learned along this journey. I have a tendency to hold on to the phrase, I can do this myself. However, when I tried to take a great big leap in doing things by myself, I eventually fell straight down on my face in the past. Back in high school, I made some pretty good grades. But when I got to undergrad education, it was more challenging for me, and I started to not do as well in my academics. I needed to ask for help from those who excelled and were able to learn from them who had experience ahead of me. I'm so grateful for the things that these women have taught me along the way. And without them and their good communication and collaboration, this project would have fallen to the ground. I also realized that I needed to let go of my pride as well as some of my insecurities in order to lead others well. In the past, I've tended to take on some righteous thinking patterns that have actually hurt others. And I realized that being a part of a team means that we have to remain flexible and willing to change in the moments so that we can come up with something that is even greater in considering the whole. Thirdly, I enjoy being a connector. I will admit, I had an ulterior motive of putting this group together. I've known Sarah for over a decade. I've known Ruchi for several years, and I just met Christine a couple of months ago. Hence, why not allow two of my closest friends to get to know Christine so that she can see the value in these hearts that are before us? Sarah has been a part of helping me grow in my spiritual journey and emotional journey. She's helped to challenge me to bring my heart to the matter, as well as explain what my emotions are and not be superficial or cliched in my responses. Ruchi has helped me to be able to take action on my thinking, just as she does by her example. I'm so grateful for the ways that she's been able to be a friend in all the hard moments and all the joyful moments. Christine was someone that I knew I wanted to meet as soon as she came to that first meeting. Being able to connect with her about growing as a mother, a love for running that we had in common, and then also being able to see how she asked questions in order to grow were ways that I was able to be stretched in putting this team together. So knowing the strengths of those that you want to be on a team, building character, and also growing in connection are huge ways that we can learn how to be a team. There is no I in team. In the words of Helen Keller, alone we can do little. Together we can do so much. Madam Toastmaster.
Kelly, that was a wonderful speech, and the project was a lot of fun. So I can't wait to see what comes out of all of it when we're finished. Timer, can we please have 1 minute to the clock to allow time for Kelly to receive supportive comments?
Time is up.
Thank you. Our second speaker tonight is Destin. Destin shared that his favorite color is black because it is the only color that he can wear without worrying whether it fits him or not. Destin is not a flower person, but he does like lilacs. He wasn't sure if they were considered a flower or a plant, and I found that they are actually a flower, and they are the official flower of a couple's 8th wedding anniversary. I would have found that useful about 14 years ago, but that's okay. So in case you have an upcoming 8th anniversary, keep that in mind. Evaluating Destin tonight is Ruchi. Ruchi, can you provide us with a brief description of Destin's speech?
Absolutely, Christine. Destin's pathway is innovative planning. He is working on his level 3 speech, elective project that he's working on. His title for the speech is Know Your Sense of Humor. He wanted me to look at his vocal variety, pace, and body language. Over to you, Christine.
Destin, are you ready?
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Childhood memories are the best ever. And my favorite ones are from school, grade school. Grade school is magical. I still have vivid memories of that period of my life. I remember the feeling of the first day of class, the smell of my new uniform, my new shoes, and my new watch that I will watch every single minute just to know that I'm on time. And my new backpack with all my tools in it that I would eventually lose the first day of class. I also remember how enjoyable it was to see new faces in my school. I'm not talking about new faces in my classroom, but I'm talking about new faces of the student who would have their very first day of class. It was a very magic moment. Seeing those kids crying, begging their parents to not leave them alone to this place that they don't know anything about. Please, mommy, don't leave me here. I promise I will be a nicer kid now. It was very funny and hilarious to see. But my favorite memory of that period, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Toastmasters, is a memory. It was during math class. In grade school, we have one teacher who teaches us all the subjects. He knows everything. Those guys are geniuses. And my teacher for grade 2 was Mr. Mbemba, a very tall guy, dark skin. He had a lot of beard and some wrinkles on his face. Mr. Mbemba was the nicest person I ever knew, but he could also get mad quickly. Do you guys remember the first time you were introduced to math? We start with learning numbers, right? We learn how to count. We learn how to write down those numbers, the symbols of the numbers, and write them down in letters. For example, 1, you know the symbol of the number 1, and you write them down. You write 1 with O and E. That's how we learn them. There's no logic at it. We just learn them, we just memorize them like that. And when it came to counting, we would use counting wood stick. 1 wood stick, 2 wood sticks, 3 wood sticks. That part was also easy. And then came the real stuff, operations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. One addition operation would be, for example, 3 plus 2. And for that operation, the teacher would tell us to count sticks on our slates. 1 stick, 2 sticks, 3 sticks. You write down the sign plus, and then you keep on 1 stick, 2 sticks. And then you count all the sticks on your plate. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, that's the answer, right? Addition was a little bit easier. But when it came to subtraction, I have a friend, Billy, who really struggled with subtraction. I remember a time Mr. Mbemba asked him, Billy, what's the answer for 6 minus 6? And Billy couldn't know what the answer was. He really struggled finding the answer. And since Mr. Mbemba was a very amazing teacher, he knew all his students. He knew that Billy liked to play with a slingshot, shooting at birds during his free time. So for slingshots, Billy would use rocks. So Mr. Mbemba went outside the classroom and collected some rocks that he could find on the ground. He came back with 6 rocks and gave them to Billy. And then he said to Billy, okay, now I want you to focus, Billy. Imagine you have your slingshot and these 6 rocks. Okay, say for example, you used 3 rocks. Remove 3 rocks, Billy. You will remove 1, 2, 3. How many rocks do you have left, Billy? He will count the rocks on his hands. 1, 2, 3. I have 3 rocks left, sir. And then Mr. Mbemba will say, let's keep on. Let's move on. Now I want you to remove 2 rocks, Billy. He would count 1 and 2. How many rocks do you have left, Billy? 1 rock, sir. Great. And now I want you to remove 1 rock, Billy. He would remove 1 rock. What do you have left, Billy? Remember, he told Billy to imagine. Sir, I have my slingshot on my hands. No, Billy, you don't have your slingshot on your hands. I just want you to focus on rocks. How many rocks do you have left, Billy? And Billy started to freak out because he realized that he had no rocks left in his hand. And he was actually afraid to say that the answer was 0 because he was thinking that Mr. Mbemba was expecting him to still have rocks on his hand. So he said, sir, I don't know what the answer is. And Mr. Mbemba said, Billy, just look at your hands and tell me what the answer is. Mr. Mbemba took those rocks outside on the ground, and Billy had some dust left in his hand. And he said, sir, I don't even know if this is a real number. Mr. Mbemba snapped. He said, Billy, you're wasting my time. Just tell me what the answer is. You had 1 rock left and I asked you to remove that 1 rock. How many rocks do you have left? And Billy said, I just have dust on my hands, sir. Mr. Mbemba was so mad that he punished my friend Billy. But that was a very important moment in Billy's life because from that day on, Billy became the best student at math in my entire grade school. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Dustin, for that speech. You brought back some interesting memories from when my children were young, leaving them in the classroom, freaking out like that. Timer, can you please add 1 minute to the clock to allow time for Dustin to receive comments?
Time is up.
Thank you. So our third and final speaker for tonight is Gaurav. Gaurav's favorite color is black because he can wear the same t-shirt again and again without anyone noticing it. There seems to be a trend amongst our Toastmaster friends. He feels black represents something unknown and mysterious. And I do own a lot of black, so maybe it's because it represents something unknown and mysterious. I'm not sure. Evaluating Gaurav's speech tonight is Preetam. Preetam, can you give us a brief description of his speech?
Sure.
Thank you.
Gaurav's speech tonight is from his presentation mastery pathway. He is on level 3, and the goal of his speech is to make connections through networking. So he is going to share with us about his networking experience through an international conference. The title of his speech is My First International Conference. He has asked for 5 to 7 minutes for his speech. And with that, I will hand it over back to you, Christian.
Thank you. Gaurav, do you want to go ahead and present your speech?
Yes. So am I audible? So hello everyone. As most of you know that I am Gaurav and I am a PhD student pursuing like my PhD in my third year. I am introvert and extrovert both, right? So let me just give you an example. I bet Matt, Kelly, and even Deb, I had met them in 2019 in a party, which was hosted by Chitra in like the Diwali party. But they might not remember me because I am the one who would be like at the corner of one like room with a glass of a cold drink or like a soda and just staring at the wall. And if somebody comes to me, I'll just take a sip and just nod my head. This awkward I am, like, like in like terms of networking. So in my today's talk, I would share my first experience with respect to an international conference. As I said, I am a PhD student, so I am expected to publish my research in various conferences. So conferences basically like most of the people come over there to share their research and knowledge. So I was lucky that my first paper was accepted in the conference, which was hosted in Washington, DC. My excitement, like when the conference was near, shifted from the conference to exploring Washington, DC. So then when I reached at the conference, I started clicking pictures of the hotel because it was a 5-star hotel and I had never been to a 5-star hotel in US. I entered the hotel. I registered myself. The lady gave me a tag, which was a name tag, which I was supposed to wear. And before entering the auditorium, I saw something very much colorful, which was a refreshment counter. And over there, they were basically giving the participants Starbucks coffee and paninis. And most important, free. I'm telling you, free. For me, going to a 5-star hotel and having free coffees and paninis from Starbucks, it was a dream come true. I shifted my attention from the conference to the paninis. I started having paninis and coffees simultaneously sitting at the, you can say, the table. I still remember a person approached me and he was staring at my stomach. For a second, I thought maybe my zipper is open. But then I realized that he was searching for the name tag. I didn't wear it. Then he asked, "Where is your name tag?" One lesson I learned that you have to wear your name tag immediately once you enter the conference. I wore the name tag and he started asking questions. "Hi, my name is Jen. Where are you from?" Me with the panini and the coffee in my hand. "Hi, I'm Gaurav. I'm from India, but now I'm coming from US." That blank. No interest. It was like he was taking my interview and I was just answering his questions. Then later, he just walked away from me. Then at the auditorium, one person came to me and said, introduced himself. "Hi, I'm Professor Khan from Bangladesh." I said, "Nice meeting you." He said, "Do you have your business card?" For me as a student, I hardly wrote a paper. Making a business card was a dream come true. I said that I'm a student. He said, okay, then can you give me your LinkedIn profile? Luckily I had one. I immediately gave him my LinkedIn profile name. He searched for it. He said, is this you? Yes, it was me. It was a 12th grade photo on my LinkedIn profile. That updated I was on my LinkedIn. He said, I have sent you the connection request. Can you accept it? I just nodded and said, I would accept it a little later. He felt it rude and left. To be honest, I was not having the LinkedIn app. I just recently installed the Grubhub and DoorDash app to explore the food or the places in Washington, D.C. He gave me his business card. And then I took this business card and attended the conference. And to be honest, I just talked to 3 to 4 people in the entire conference. That is the international conference. When the people left the conference, they went for dinners to discuss their ideas, and me went to explore White House. Then I came back to Rochester, and in my next weekly meeting, my advisor had the following questions. Question number 1, how many connections did you make? Question number 2, how many business cards you collected? Question number 3, how many LinkedIn connections or collaborations you saw? And all I can remember was Starbucks and Panini. She was so mad at me. I was thinking that I have one business card, but that too, it was at home. I have photos of White House, but that was not helping in my project meeting. So she said very bluntly, you had an international networking event where you had to communicate. It was a professional event. You were neither professional nor you made any networking. It was a complete flop. Then I realized and learned a valuable lesson of communication and networking. So in my second conference now, I luckily got my paper selected again, but now it is a virtual event. I do miss the free food which is offered at the conference, but I make sure that I have updated my LinkedIn profile. I've updated my CV. I have prepared an elevator speech. Over here in Toastmasters, we call it the icebreaker speech. And even now, recently, I just created my Twitter account. I know Xavier can know that because recently he is now one of my Twitter follower. I just requested him to be my follower because I didn't have one. And looking back now, I feel that PhD, with respect to myself, PhD is already a specialization domain. I need to network with the researchers out in the world. I have to come out of my box and just network. And mostly recently, I have a podcast which I had done and I had shared it on all the social medias because I truly feel that the quote which was said by Claire, it says that your network is your net worth. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you for that interesting speech. That was you had me laughing. Timer, can you please add 1 minute to the clock to allow time to for comments to be received?
Time is up.
Thank you. Thank you, speakers, for the wonderful speeches tonight. We are going to move into the next part of our meeting, which is table topics. Yay! Our table topics master is Bhakti. When I asked Bhakti her favorite color, she shared that she doesn't have a particular color that she likes, but her favorite flower is jasmine because not only does it smell amazing, but she can smell them up close without worrying about pollen allergies. Bhakti, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Christine. Now, this is the part of the meeting where anybody and everybody except me can participate. But there is a but. There are rules. And one of the rules will be explained by our timer, Hassan.
Thank you, Bhakti. One of the most important rules in table topics is the time. So you have to speak within 1 to 2 minutes. So at 1 minute, I will change my background to green. At 1 minute 30, it will become yellow. And then when it's 2 minutes, I will change it to red. And you will have 30 seconds to wrap up. Thank you.
Thank you, Hassan. There is another. Oh. Thank you, our clap master Preetam, for the day. Next rule will be explained by our grammarian, who is Alex.
Hey there, everyone. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master. For this section of the meeting, I will be watching extra closely for our word for the day, which is vivid. Vivid means bright or eye-catching. It especially refers to colors. So you can look outside and see the vivid purple of the lilacs. Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Alex. Now that you know the rules, I would like to share that the phrase flowers and colors, which is clearly my background, it is said because when you see a flower, the first thing you notice about that flower is the color of the flower. So even though right now on your screen, you see this amazing, pretty, beautiful face in the center, still the first thing you might have noticed is the background. So there are certain things when you see for the first time, there are certain aspects of that image that you capture. So for today's table topics, I'll be showing you an image. You have to tell me what is the first thing that you notice in the image, and then you can go ahead and explain the rest of the image. But remember to be within the time and use the word of the day. So who would like to go? I will start picking people if nobody volunteers to go. Oh, Xavier. I also have to warn you that my laptop is a little wonky today, so this might disrupt. Okay. Let's
I see flowers.
just a moment. No. Okay. This is your image. Tell me what is the first thing you notice, and then you can describe the image.
Thank you, Madam Table Topics Master, fellow Toastmasters, and legendary Toastmasters out there. When I looked at this image, the first thing I saw, because I'm American and I read left to right, top corner to bottom corner, including pictures, is black. If you look in that first corner, there's nothing vivid about it. It's just blackness. But as I expand my view outwards, I can see some pretty cool stuff going on. Like there's this little hall with some sort of woman poking out, she's like, hey, what's going on? And she looks to be looking at an old man's face, which actually, nope, now it's a guy playing a guitar. No wonder she's like, what's going on? Honestly, I did not see that coming. This is blowing my mind as we're going. This is more of like Xavier reacts to picture time right now. And we haven't even gotten halfway through. So expanding out even more, there is a second woman, older woman's face that is also a person with a hat doing, oh, no, it's a conch shell. Nope, I don't know what it is. Bhakti, why'd you give me such a hard one? What's going on? Finally, there is a bottle over yonder. I'm gonna even annotate it because I can, right? Here. Back to you, Madam Table Topics Master.
Good attempt there, Xavier. I guess we don't have to worry about the timing rules because people will find a lot of nuances within the image. Who wants to go next? Ajita. It will be easier, I promise. Oh God. No. Here is your image.
Whoa. This is such a beautiful image. As Xavier already showed me the path, and I'm following the same path of going from left to right and slowly scanning the image for all the vivid imagery it portrays. And I see, I'm going to imagine that as a 5 or 6 year old girl who is going on a, who is on a boat, on a paddle board and trying to go and find its way through the waves. This actually gives me a very vivid picture in my head, which I feel I am imagining the ocean, and where if you look from the top view, you see the whale below, and in reality it's the wave on top and the person is trying to find its way from there. And then there is, I feel it's moonlight and it's dark, pitch dark, darkness around with the moonlight there. Yeah, that's all I can imagine. Thank you for this beautiful picture, Bhakti. Back to you.
Okay, who wants to go next? Ruchi. Just give me a moment. You will have the easiest one.
Ooh, donuts. So what I see is half a dozen donuts. And this is so tempting because after we ate yesterday's leftover Bengali vegetable dish, I was so hungry for something good. And now I know what I was hungry for. It's donuts with sprinkles. And the one I like the most is, if you go in English reading order, it's fifth. So pink and then middle one. That's what is looking the most delicious to me, but it should not be coconut sprinkles on top. I love the vivid decorations on it, and it reminds me of a failed cookie decoration session that we had at RIT, because that was my first time and I didn't know that it is something that people do for entertainment. because we just bought the cookies and ate them. Like there's no decoration in our home. And I looked at the supplies and my eyes got wonkers. I mean, how do you get so much different kinds of decorations? Why do we not have that in India? But well, here we are. And I am still hungry for donuts. Over to you, Bhakti.
Thank you, Ruchi. Mr. Timer, do we have time for one more?
Yes, we have.
Okay. Let's see. Do I have another image? Yes, I do. Who wants to go next? Oh, Ashutosh. Awesome. So here is your image, Ashutosh.
Wow, that is a great image. One of my favorite colors being purple. It is the one that stands out vividly. The first thing that comes to mind looking at this picture is obviously its scenic beauty and the petals that are giving out an expression or forming an expression of a face, which is serene and peaceful. Seems like a person who's just experiencing spring, like all of us today, this being the most pleasant day of the year, as far as I'm concerned. And yep, he's decided, or he or she, that person has decided to go into the gardens, lay down, and just take a nap. That's all from my end. Back to you, Bhakti.
Thank you, Ashutosh. Mr. Timer, were everyone within the time limit?
So Xavier, Ajit, and Ruchi, they are within time limit.
Mhm.
And Ashutosh, he spoke for 55 seconds. I don't know, is it good or not? 55 seconds.
Okay, okay. Let's see. Mr. Grammarian, did everyone use the word of the day?
Yes, all four of our speakers used the word of the day. Yes.
Thank you. So I will put up in the chat all the names of the contestants and a poll will appear. Just vote for the person corresponding to the number that is mentioned in the chat. With that, I will hand it over back to Christine.
Timer, can we add 1 minute to the clock to allow everyone to vote?
Okay.
The polling is complete. You may continue.
Okay. I am going to turn the meeting over to our general evaluator, who is Deb for the night, for the evaluation portion of our meeting.
Hi everyone, I'm your impromptu general evaluator today. And so this part of the meeting, we get to actually hear feedback from our evaluators. But before we do, can we talk a little bit about timing rules for the evaluators?
So evaluators, they have 2 to 3 minutes to evaluate the speech. So at the second minute, I will turn my background into green. At 2:30 seconds, it will be yellow. And at the third minute, it will be red. And then the evaluator will have 30 seconds to wrap up.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. as much as it's a wonderful experience and opportunity to be able to have the prepared speeches, it's also an awesome experience, and to get your kind of impromptu muscles working, and being able to give feedback, you know, only having maybe 20 minutes to really prepare for it in your head. That's a really wonderful skill that this part of the meeting gets to showcase. So to get us started, Ming Shuo is going to evaluate Kelly. Feel free to take it away, Ming Shuo, when you're ready.
Thank you, Madam. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, and thank you, Kelly. This is a wonderful speech, and I want to go with your good structure. Yeah, your structure is great. You started with a question about considering the feeling of other team members. Then, in your first part, you introduce your three teammates, Sarah, Ruchi, and your new member, Christine. In the second part, you told us your formal story, and in the third part, you told us how you connected your teammates, Sarah, Ruchi, and Christine together, how you wanted to be a good connector. So your ending part is related to your beginning part, which is great. This gives us a stronger sense of your team management. I really like your structure. And second, I like the word you said. Ruchi can take others' shoes. I think these words perfectly show how good she could understand others and make change to fit others' needs. Besides, in your second part, you have a comparison between your middle school and your undergraduate school. You changed from a single-handed hero, like individual heroism, to a team-style hero. This comparison is awesome. I think this rhythm is like a roller coaster. The rhythm is up and down, which adds more drama feeling to your speech. And also you have very good hand gesture. Your vocal pace was great. I really like your vocal pace. It's very peaceful, but also very powerful. I got to say, I really enjoyed it. I feel very comfortable about it. And I think I can definitely learn from you. Yeah, well done. This is your wonderful ability to control the rhythm of your speech. And the last thing, I do have some suggestions. I think you can try to add more dialogue to your speech. Like when you said Sarah has great insight, you can say some good example of her, like use her vocal characteristic, her voice to show her characteristics. I think you can try. Yeah. And in concluding, this is a wonderful speech. I really enjoyed it. And we're done tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Ming Shuo. Next, we have up Ruchi is going to be evaluating Destin. Take it away, Ruchi.
Awesome. Thank you, Deb. Destin, to start with it was a great speech. You asked me to look at three things: vocal variety, pace, and body language. Starting with body language, you had great hand gestures, especially when you were talking about Billy and just looking at your hand. And I could see Billy standing there. Billy, I hope I'm saying that right. Standing there and looking at her hands, and I could imagine that your body language was very pronounced. Your vocal variety, when we saw that twice in your speech when you were begging like students who didn't want to be there on the first day of the school. And when you were yelling as the math teacher, it was, both of them were excellently portrayed. I could see the kids on the first attempt and the teacher, a math teacher. Being a teacher myself, I could see that math teacher in real life, trust me. And your pace was excellent given the content of your speech, because there was so much humor involved. You gave the audience enough time to laugh. I was laughing and I still had the time to listen your next sentence, and there was an apt gap between your previous and the next sentence. So that was great. Your speech content was extremely descriptive. You explained 4 different smells: uniform, shoes, watch, and backpack. I mean, watch, you included watch. That was, you put a lot of effort in writing that speech. You gave the background of the slingshot. You not just said that the kid used slingshot, you explained why Billy used slingshot and what was the history and how that was used and how they would find rock to replace the whatever shot you would use actually if you buy it from the store. But again, you did that. So that was great. You could write a book and you would consider, I could see that you would consider giving background of everything you're putting in your speech. So that's great. Your humor was natural, very obvious. You're the one person who could say the funniest thing in the world and not laugh about it and make the whole audience hold their stomach and laugh. I would be the one laughing the loudest. 2 things I would want to say for your next speech, make how you can add it to the next speech. The one thing was, your title of the speech was Know Your Sense of Humor, but it didn't really come through in this speech. What were we knowing in that speech? How it didn't relate to that. So maybe having a more relevant title to that speech. And the conclusion seemed a bit hurried, maybe because you were running out of time. It's needed to be more what it's called, bringing it back. You had to close that loop. So that was all missing, but all in all, your speech had some great elements, some vivid descriptions, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. Over to you, Deb.
And for our last but not least evaluator, Pritam will be evaluating Gaurav.
First thing I have to say about Gaurav is, wow, where was that speaker hidden for so long? We saw a different Gaurav today. If you have a magic potion that you use to bring out that speaker, you might want to share that with all of us. So I don't know what you did from the last time you gave a speech. You gave a very technical speech last time, and I was wondering, Gaurav, when are you going to tell a story? And today you told a story that made every one of us laugh, connect to it. You shared your experience like we were all there with you. First, your story was extremely relatable. Any student who has gone to a conference and saw free food has drooled over that free food. You made us connect with it, laugh with it. Then you also gave some practical things that happened, like you did not have LinkedIn on your phone, but you had Grubhub and DoorDash. So those were very funny things, very funny elements to your speech. So congratulations on bringing that speaker out of you. We were waiting so long to hear that. There are 3 things that would make your speech even better. The body, conclusion, everything in your speech was wonderful. But when you started the speech, you started by saying, as you all know, my name is Gaurav. You could make it a little more interesting, right? Like starting with a question. Have you ever been to a hotel and have got free food? I don't know what you want to do it, but a better hook to get the audience's attention to start the speech with. Second thing was the project that you are doing. The purpose of this project is to practice a personal strategy for building connections to network. You shared a story of when you went to a conference, you are not prepared to network. You did not have a strategy. At the end of the speech, you gave a slight hint about going to a virtual event with strategy. So we want to know more. What difference did the strategy make to your networking experience? So that was missing. So overall, Gaurav, you brought out a different side of you that we did not see for so long. Your storytelling was amazing. You shared vivid experiences, very practical, relatable experiences covered with humor that made it so enjoyable for us. The only thing was have a better beginning to your speech, like your body was awesome. Make the starting of your speech also awesome, like the body of your speech. And when you had a strategy, give us the strategy, how it helped you, so that we can also take away from your speech and apply it to our networking. With that, back to you, Deb.
Thank you, Pritam, and thank you to all of our wonderful speakers. So we had this opportunity to learn from your prepared speeches and to get feedback from some very seasoned Toastmasters. Now I'm going to do kind of just a general evaluation of how I thought the meeting went. Very impressed with how quickly adaptable we are. I feel like I'm bragging on myself. I apologize, that wasn't the intention, but I've seen many a times where each of you have jumped into a role, whether you've done it before or not. And I think it's just knowing that we're a safe space to make mistakes, to fumble a little bit. That's the only way we're going to learn how to do the work here and just, run a meeting and what that's like. I did want to point out too, I appreciated that Kelly spoke up for what she needed, asking about where's the timer, the timing rules, just a reminder that we always want to label our roles in the Zoom. I know it's still weird. Hopefully at some point we'll be done with Zoom. But in the meantime, we're going to keep adapting in an amazing, vivid, colorful, vibrant way of just carrying on being ourselves and sharing our stories and doing it as efficiently as possible. So I appreciate everyone sharing. I thought today's meeting ran very well. It was on time, very poignant, communicative. I think I was encouraged though to hear that Kelly asked the question, so don't hesitate to speak up if you're not sure about something or you need something. Also, thank you, Pritam. Functionary reports. So we're gonna let our functionaries give their reports, so we could start with the timer.
Thank you very much. So here's the time for speakers. The first speaker, Kelly, she spoke in 6 minutes 39. Destin, the second speaker, 7:12, and Gaurav just 7 minutes. So as I said, all table topic speakers were eligible except Ashutosh, who spoke in 55 seconds. And all the evaluators were within the time except Ruchi, who gave her evaluation. It took 3 minutes and 45 seconds. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we'll start with our awe counter.
Thanks. So I think everyone is doing pretty good tonight, and I recorded for every speakers. General evaluator Deborah makes overuse a little bit the sound of R, like around 6 times. And for filler words, Mingshu and Ajita overused a little bit, and maybe around 5 or 6 times. That's all.
Thank you. I cannot escape feedback as well. Guilty, everyone. So sorry. and our grammarian, who I think is the man downstairs.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. It's always a relief to speak right after the counter because then I don't have to be self-conscious about my filler words. Woof, woof. I'm going to focus in on our speakers tonight. There was some really great word choices and also some opportunities to improve. Kelly used great words like daunting and pertinent. Those were excellent word choices that said exactly what she wanted to say. One place where there was an opportunity for maybe a better word choice is she mentioned that she had righteous thought patterns. And I think what she meant there was self-righteous, and that's a small change, but it is a big change in what gets communicated there. And based on the context, it made sense that that's what she was trying to say. And the other thing that I noticed in Kelly's speech that was great was the rhetorical device of a metaphor that her plan would have fallen to the ground. Gaurav had some great language in his speech. I especially liked the rhetorical device of where his attention was going. So his attention went from the conference to exploring Washington, D.C., and then his attention went from exploring Washington, D.C. to the paninis, which was that was a great rhetorical device, that repetition of that device of following his attention through his speech. A few little grammatical changes. You said you reached at the conference. You can either arrive at the conference or you can reach the conference. You also said very much colorful about the panini stand, the free food. You could just say that it's colorful, or you could find an even more vivid word. It was vivid. And then you said you explore White House, and you would just add the article there to say explore the White House. Otherwise, like I said, you use some great rhetoric and humor in your speech to help keep our attention and to keep the humor running through your speech. Our last speaker was Destin. Used some great rhetorical devices as well. Lots of great dialogue, which always is helpful to keep us throughout the speech. And I noticed my watch, which I would watch every minute of the day. That was a nice little play on words there. There was one part where your professor, you were talking about your professor, and I heard something along the lines of "us get mad," and I wasn't sure if that was something that got lost in translation or how that happened, but that sentence got a little wobbly. But all told, you did an excellent job, and you incorporated the word of the day into your speech, which for prepared speeches is very difficult to do. So congratulations, Destin, for doing that. Well done using dialogue to keep our attention. Well done to all of our speakers tonight, and I'm going to hand it back to our general evaluator. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Grammarian. And now the odd counter will only evaluate Alex. I'm just kidding. Since I already did, I fast forwarded through my general evaluation of the meeting. Apologies for that. I'm going to hand the meeting over to our Toastmaster for the night.
Thank you, Deb. So it's time to announce our table topics winner. So if we could have a drum roll, please. And our winner tonight is Brucci. You win our virtual chocolate. Yay! And I just want to thank everyone for allowing me to be the Toastmaster tonight. It took me out of my comfort zone, and I made it through and look forward to taking on this role again. And I'm going to turn the meeting over to our president, Bhakti, for closing remarks.
Nice little ending there, Preetham. Christine, you did a good job tonight of being the Toastmaster. I probably messed up people's head with my role as table topic master today. But overall, it was an excellent meeting. I want to thank Gaurav and Hassan for putting together the induction for tonight's meeting. I'm also happy to announce that next week we'll be having the graduation week. So there are some students in this club who are graduating this summer. So they will be presenting their graduation speech next week. So I'm looking forward to hearing that. With that, if you want to participate in any roles, 2 weeks later, you can let Hassan know about it. And with that, I would like to conclude the meeting. Thank you everyone for joining tonight.